That's a call. They can help you.
Call 800-970-3199. That's 800-970-3199. 800-970-3199.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Score a trip for four to Orlando's most magical theme park, including airfare and hotel. Register now to win at SanAntonioSportsStar.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Zach Martin hinted this could be his last year in the NFL, as in his media session, he said, quote, "I'm not saying 100%, but I think it's definitely in the realm of possibilities," end quote. Houston Texans wide receiver Andre Johnson, who will be enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame this August, announced he will be presented by one of his former head coaches, Gary Kubiak.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history. A walk-off home run.
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. Thanks for joining me. However you may be doing that, whether that's on 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com if you're listening via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player, or if you're with the times, you're watching on YouTube. That's how I listen and watch the show. I get to take it with me everywhere I go, put it in my pocket, have my headphones in, go to the gym, jump in the car, Bluetooth automatically connects. It's my preferred way to do, because when I hear something, I could just jump into the comments section, and I like to be as interactive as possible, so it gives y'all a bunch of chances to get in it, like Rudolph Gonzalez, who says he's already thumbed it. Thank you very much. If you would, like, subscribe. You're allowed to comment along here on San Antonio Sports Star. All of our shows are live all the time. Fred Records, Frank Valdez, Vince Trevino. What's going on, guys? Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure. You can also tweet at me at I am Pledger, or the station at SA Sports Star. And feel free to call in if you'd like. 210-656-ESPN. That is 210-656-3776. If you want to talk about anything and everything, I'm always game. Whether it's the Spurs, Texans, Cowboys, NFL in general, NBA in general, the NBA Finals get going tomorrow. Of course, you can join the Blitz out there tomorrow. They're going to be out at the Roo Pub, my home base, 2 to 6. Make sure to stop by and say what's up to Jason and Joe out there. But big stories today. I remember yesterday we were talking about it before I went off the air. Micah's comments about his initial thoughts on new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer. And like Jason said, I agree with those sentiments. I saw them. I wanted to hear the comments. And upon hearing the comments, they don't sound as detrimental as they read in a tweet. And this is what Micah had to say about his new defensive coordinator.
Honestly, man, me and Zim probably said a total of 20 words to each other. Yeah, he's a very quiet person. And all I keep hearing from the coaches is like, Zim likes it this way. I was like, well, I like it this way. Like, so I can't wait to have like my true sit down with him. I think it'll be pretty cool because obviously old school mindset, old school mentality. But, I think he has a lot of great players, but he ain't never had a Micah before. So it'll be fun, and I think it's going to be unique. There's a lot of similarities on things, how he used me with how Dan used me in the system. But he has more twists and turns of how he's going to set things up. And also, there's some things that I got to get used to, too. It's going to be a compromisable relationship. There's one things he's like, I'm not going to give on. I don't give on. That's a part of the whole regime,
Now, upon hearing that, you still are iffy with your person superstar being that vocal, but superstars do have input with a lot of coaching staffs, and Micah is a superstar in this game. He's going to be the next one up to get paid. And while these aren't the initial, like, this is the first thing I heard, initial reactions, once you ingest some of the things he says, they do make sense. Like him not being this off season.
I mean, I think that's always been kind of my style. I think I really haven't been here since like what my rookie season, so I don't think it's anything new. I think I always had like my own way of doing things. Um, and defense is defense. I'm pretty much caught up on everything. I went over it. Paul was meeting up with me, the run game coordinator. So I really wasn't missing anything. So I feel like I was just getting better, getting stronger, getting faster. Just doing my things and what Micah does in the offseason. Wrestle sumos. So I just have fun.
And he does have an off season, and those were voluntary. So there is off time for the players. There is the fact that he was still engaged despite, and it's not even like, as he says, it's not even like he wasn't there, because he was asked about the value of being present for these, and it's, you understand both sides of it, because CD is not there for certain reasons. Dak going through similar reasons, although he's already been paid, also there. So two different ways of handling the same situation and trying to put someone's feet to the fire. But Micah talked about the value of being present for these voluntary workouts.
Yeah, I think the more years you have in, the more you understand that there's also like the business side to it. Whether I like it or not, there's rookies or people I came with that's not even here anymore. And I think that's what camp is for. I mean, there was a time where Aaron Donald didn't even go to camp and he won Defensive Player of the Year and he realized his team in playoffs. Like, are we forgetting these times? Like, he wasn't, you're talking about the best defensive player, wasn't even in camp. And we're in mini camp, or a voluntary at that. So, camp would say something that's mandatory. So I'm just looking at a time for my body to heal. I'm an undersized rusher who's gets banged up every year. So I'm just letting my body heal. I'm just trying to grow, strengthen, and really just get ready for the year.
And he does go through a certain routine, he says, in terms of making sure his body is in proper shape, rehabbing during the off season, stretching out his ligaments, making sure everything gets to a certain point before going back through football drills again for the most part. So I understand his process of how his body recovers. I understand that he takes a beating, but he also just admitted he wore down at the end of the year, and he does wear down at the end of years because he is undersized. Can Mike Zimmer's defense and possibly moving him around, playing him at linebacker some more, lessen the strain on his body so that he is in optimal shape when it comes to late in the season? That's yet to be seen, but it does make a lot of sense. Mike also said something very interesting. He said he had a conversation with Mike McCarthy when he got there the other day. And it was a very long conversation. And he asked how him and Mike McCarthy are right now, because there was this feeling that Micah not being at some of those voluntary mini camps didn't sit right with McCarthy.
Oh, me and Coach McCarthy are super well. We met for an hour or so just the other week. I think people don't understand how much more I think McCarthy's invested into me on becoming a leader and what he thinks I value the team and where we're headed. So I think me and McCarthy is really good, and I actually value our conversations and our relationship growing more as he's been here, and I think that's very powerful to me because obviously I think he's kind of took on the challenge of when Dan left to kind of be that voice for me, and I really appreciate that.
So he's now looking at Mike McCarthy the way he looked and talked with Dan Quinn throughout the season, in the offseason, kind of being that coach that he goes to, which is nice. And it was funny because McCarthy himself was asked about that conversation with Micah Parsons.
Well, I mean, you're a young man as a professional. The more you can keep you around. So, I think it's just another hat to wear. But no, I'm trying to. It's a bad joke. But I just think, as anything. I mean, I enjoy those conversations with all of our guys. So I do, put a lot of substance into the one-on-one conversations because I think you go deeper and talk about things and. And coaching today's athlete, it's this is my third decade coaching in this league, and it's definitely different than the '90s. So the ability to communicate and collaborate, I mean, those are all very important practices that you have to have not only with your players but your coaching staff. So Micah's a big personality. He brings a lot to the table. So I definitely enjoy a relationship.
And that's the most important thing. Micah is a big personality. He brings a lot to the table. And he brings a lot to the table in terms of his on the field. I don't know if he's going to be a quote-unquote captain at some point in his career. I don't know if he's going to be the leader that everybody seems to be wanting to thrust upon him all of a sudden. But I also don't know if it necessarily matters. Micah is singularly great at what he does. And that's all you need to be. Being a leader is extra. Being a leader is more. But you can find somebody else to take on that role within a locker room. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, sasportstar.com. There was also a lot of talk about quarterbacks, whether it be Dak Prescott and his contract, the offseason he's having, or down in Houston with CJ Stroud and where he is and what he thinks of the people on his team as this offense has seemingly grown exponentially overnight this offseason. We'll discuss more of that, plus your phone calls coming up next right here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
I've got an idea for a new bit we need to do. Okay. I'm not paying. Like you're at a restaurant. Okay. They screw your order up. Just sit there and say, I'm not paying.
But what is that? Those are mashed potatoes, sir. I'm not paying.
Right. I'm not paying.
Maybe we should advise people, don't ever try to pull this on like a hooker or a drug dealer.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here from my good friends at Connecticut. Living in South Texas, growing up in San Antonio, it's been a great place to be because, well, we love the land, we love the people, and boy, do we love our water. That aquifer water, it makes some good sweet tea and some fine beer, but I'll tell you what comes out of the ground we do not want in our glasses, and that's where Connecticut comes in. The finest water treatment system you can get around these parts. Designed and built in the United States, it is made in America for you, San Antonio, for me. I've been a Connecticut customer for years, and now's the chance for you to be one without any risk. Call Connecticut today at 656-PURE. That's 656-PURE. And the good folks at Connecticut are going to come out to your home, put one in your house for the next 90 days. So you can find out what the rest of us already know, that we have a water softener designed and made with South San Antonio in mind. Call Connecticut today at 656-PURE. Get a Connecticut in your home for the next 90 days. You're going to be like me, a Connecticut customer. You know what you're going to do? You're going to thank me later.
ConnecticutSA.com.
Rob Thompson here for my favorite fantasy app. It's Prize Picks. I'm just one of 3 million people that love more or less. Where else are you going to take a $10 play and turn it into 100x of your cash? It's Prize Picks. And as basketball winds down, the games continue. Yeah, lots of finals action there. More or less, you fantasy guys, you know how to play along with the other 5 million active members. More or less is all that matters. And in June, as basketball winds down, I have got the fun for you. Esports. Yeah, get in on esports every Wednesday and Saturday in June, and your lineup doesn't win, you'll get your entry fee back. Choose the Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, League of Legends. You know them. Go play them. Fantasy games elevated. More or less. It's easy. Take $10, turn it into 100x of cash, and it's so easy to play. Remember the code ALAMO. Go to prizepicks.com. Get yourself signed up. Use that fantasy knowledge. Go play today. That's Prize Picks and Alamo.
Introducing Lumi for Men, and we named him Mando. I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the inventor of Mando Whole Body Deodorant for pits, packages, and feet, because we all know our pits aren't the only place we get odor. Mando Whole Body Deodorant is different from anything you've ever tried before. It stops odor before it starts, powered by our acidified technology. Mando controls odor anywhere you have it. My patented whole body deodorant formula has over 200,000 five-star reviews. And because Mando has a 60-day stink-free guarantee, you can try Mando risk-free. Give Mando whole body deodorant a try today and smell like the stink-free man you were intended to be.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 1515 and get an extra $5 off a Mando starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, 2 free products of your choice, and ships free with code 1515. Go to shopmando.com, code 1515, for an extra $5 off a Mando starter pack. That's shopmando.com, code 1515.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Got a comment from Rudolph Gonzalez as we were going to break. Sparked a little something. He said he thinks Micah is bigger than life, but he's the same age as my son, so I know they're just young, mixed with confident. And that's okay to me. Like, you can be bigger in life. I don't think everyone's wired the same way, and that's okay. J4 said that's how all these athletes are, and that's not okay. He wants competition. Look, I say it's okay because you can't. Everybody can't be Tom Brady. Everybody can't be Michael Jordan. Otherwise, you've got nobody to follow the leader. You need people to lead, and you need people to follow. You need the voice in the room that commands the room. And if there's too many people trying to command the room, the message gets lost because there's conflicting messages a lot of the times. So to me, personally, competition is one thing. And I don't think Micah lacks in competition. I think he wants to be the best at what he does. I think he wants to be singularly the greatest pass rusher in NFL history. That's what drives him. Now it's on the leader to find a way to get a hook that channels that motivation to the team goals. And leaders are able to find a way to connect with everyone on the team. Find the Michael Irvin used to say this when he would join the Blitz back in the day. Every player's got a hook. You just got to find the hook in certain players. Not everybody is driven or motivated by the same principles. And for some, it's family. For some, it is their children. For some, it is money. For some, it is greatness. You got to find the motivating factor for someone and be able to channel into that. And that's the difference between leaders and great players, in my opinion, is leaders know exactly how to be around and motivate and connect with everyone in that locker room, no matter who it is. knowing everyone's name, knowing what they like, knowing the people. And those are leaders. And to me, that's the difference. CJ Stroud, there was a moment in time, I remember them talking about when they knew he was the leader of the team. And it was on a draft visit. It was his ability to everybody in the locker room, the veterans that were there around the facility that wanted to meet him, wanted to be around him. He was engaging to all of them, remembered them, developed handshakes with a couple, comes back, still has those handshakes after drafted and getting in the building, and now has seemingly a handshake for almost every single person in the building, it seems like. It's incredible to see the way that he talks about his teammates and gets his teammates. Those are attributes that lend themselves to leadership. I think Dak has those attributes. You can tell that the team is fully supported behind and 100% believe that Dak Prescott can lead this team to exactly where it needs to go. I don't think there's a person in that locker room that doesn't believe that Dak can get them where they need to go. I know fans have a different opinion on that. I would find it hard pressed to be able to get where you need to go without having a top flight quarterback. And as CJ Stroud said, Dak Prescott, he is in that top 5.
So look, final 5. Mahomes, Lamar, myself, Dak,
Joey B.
No, he didn't really play last year.
Off of last
And
year.
then Hurts.
And it's hard to argue Dak. I don't know if I'd have him as high as 4, 5, 6, 7. He's in that area. It is just his play on the field. And you can say what you want about the playoff failures that he's had, and they are failures for the most part. Quarterback takes the blame for every loss, no matter how the loss ends up happening. Dak Prescott is good enough to get that team to a Super Bowl. They are on the right side of the bracket with the NFC. There are very few competitors in his way in terms of truly elite teams. There's one and maybe an ascending one in Detroit. J4 says Mahomes doesn't get blamed for losses. He has been. He absolutely has been. I know Chiefs fans that blame him when they've lost. I know media types that have actively gone on First Take and criticized Mahomes when they were struggling this year offensively. He gets his criticisms as well. They're just not as loud as the ones that Dak Prescott gets. 656 ESPN, 210-656 ESPN. Joshua, welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure. What's going on, my man?
Hey, it's just me. Look, you're right about CJ Stroud. He is a leader. I know some people are coming and kind of looking at him crazy with what he says in some of the press conferences, but he didn't really say anything bad about Aaron Rodgers. He just said, Aaron Rodgers has great season success, but he doesn't have as many rings as Eli Manning. That's all he's stating. He'd rather win the Super Bowl rings. And to me, that's what a quarterback should be. Yes, I like that Michael Parsons wants to have great season success and cares about Micah getting good success, but your quarterback has to be the one that's about winning rings. And I think that's where Dallas falls with Dak Prescott. But that's why Houston is in a great situation. Because not just is CJ Stroud bought in to winning those Super Bowls, you also have...
Are you saying Dak Prescott hasn't bought into trying to win Super Bowls?
I don't think he has. I mean, when it comes to the playoff time, he folds. He doesn't make the right plays. I don't think Mike McCarthy's a great
CJ Stroud
coach.
has made it exactly as far as Dak Prescott has in the playoffs.
In 1 year.
Sure.
And Dak has had how many years?
Dak did that in his first year, too.
Okay, and look at the team that Dak had around him, though.
And look at
That
the
was one
team
of
that
the great-
CJ has around him.
Exactly. And if CJ can get further, which I'm assuming he can get to the AFC title game.
That's a
and
big
I think that's
assumption.
where-
There's this guy named Patrick Mahomes that stands in your way. Tom Brady kept a lot of people from winning rings.
Well, that's to get into the Super Bowl. He would have to go through Patrick Mahomes. But I'm assuming he can get to the AFC title game where he'll have to face either Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, possibly both. But I have a feeling that they can face Patrick Mahomes. I think Lamar Jackson's team is going to be more of a threat to Houston.
I appreciate it, Josh. Hold the line for me real quick. We got to get into Rangers baseball coming up next right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM and sasportstar.com. Love everybody. Reach out. Tell people that you love them. You don't know how good that can actually do someone.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close. If you're having issues rising to the occasion, do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo male enhancement pill from Pure